I stood on Santa Monica Beach that Friday evening in October, my hand wrapped around a small velvet box in my jacket pocket, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. Madison stood beside me, her hair catching the golden light, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. 3 years together, 2 years living in my apartment downtown, and tonight I was going to ask her to be my wife. I had planned this moment down to the smallest detail, picturing her tears of joy, her yes, our future unfolding before us. But as I looked at her profile against the fading light, something in her eyes made my stomach tighten with an unease I could not quite name. I had no idea that in less than 10 minutes everything I believed about us would shatter. Before I tell you what happened next, I would love to know, where are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. If you have ever had your heart broken by someone you trusted, completely hit that like button, because you are not alone in this. And make sure to subscribe, because this story gets way more complicated than just a rejected proposal. What happened after that? Turned into something I never saw coming, and trust me, you will want to hear how I handled the betrayal that followed and how I finally took control of my own life again. Madison and I met 3 years ago at a tech conference in San Francisco. I was there representing my software engineering firm, and she was running a marketing booth for her company. We connected over terrible conference coffee and a shared love for California beaches. She was smart, funny, and ambitious. I was drawn to her energy, the way she could light up a room just by walking into it. Our first date was at a small Italian restaurant in the Marina District, and we talked until they literally started putting chairs on tables. Within 6 months, we were inseparable, spending every weekend together, taking road trips up the coast to Big Sur, cooking elaborate meals on Friday nights, and binge-watching horror movies that made her grab my arm. After a year of dating, Madison suggested we move in together. I had just bought a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Los Angeles, using most of my savings for the down payment. It was a big step for me, both financially and emotionally, but I was ready. I wanted to build a life with her. We added her name to the lease, though. I remained the sole owner, something that seemed like a minor detail at the time. Those first few months of living together were everything I had hoped for. We split bills, fairly decorated the place together, and fell into an easy rhythm of domesticity. Sunday mornings meant pancakes and the New York Times. Wednesday nights were our date nights, even if it was just takeout and a movie at home. But about 6 months before that evening on the beach, things started to shift. The changes were subtle at first. Madison began staying late at work more often, coming home around 9 or 10 at night instead of 6. She had gotten a promotion to senior marketing manager, so I assumed the extra hours were just part of her new responsibilities. When I would bring up marriage casually, asking questions like what kind of wedding she might want or whether she saw kids in our future, her answers became vague and non-committal. "We will see," she would say, or "I am not ready to think about that yet." I told myself she was just stressed from work, that once things settled down we would get back to where we were. My older brother Marcus thought differently. Over beers one night at our favorite sports bar, I mentioned my plan to propose. Marcus set down his drink and looked at me seriously. "Have you two actually talked about marriage recently?" he asked. "Like really talked, not just you bringing it up and her brushing it off." I defended Madison, explaining about her promotion and the pressure she was under. Marcus was not convinced. "Bro, I am just saying maybe you should have a real conversation before you drop $5,000 on a ring and plan this whole thing." But I waved him off. "She is just stressed," I insisted. "Once she sees the ring and realizes I am serious about our future, everything will fall into place." So I spent the next 2 months planning the perfect proposal. I went to 4 different jewelers before finding the right ring, a 1-carat diamond on a white gold band, exactly the style Madison had pointed out months ago when we walked past a jewelry store. I made reservations at Shutters on the beach, her favorite restaurant, for 7 that evening. I even recruited my buddy Derek, who is a professional photographer, to hide on the beach and capture the moment. Everything had to be perfect because I believed this was the beginning of our forever. That Friday evening arrived, clear and warm, typical October weather in Los Angeles. Dinner was amazing. Madison laughed at my jokes, told stories about her coworkers, and seemed more relaxed than she had been in months. After we finished dessert, I suggested we take a walk on the beach, just like we used to when we first started dating. She agreed easily, slipping her hand into mine as we walked down to the sand. I led her to a bench overlooking the water, the exact spot where we had our first kiss 3 years ago. This was it. My heart was pounding so hard I thought she might hear it over the sound of the waves. I got down on one knee, pulled out the ring box and opened it. The diamond caught the last rays of sunlight. Madison, I started these 3 years have been the best of my life. You make me laugh every single day, you challenge me to be better, and I cannot imagine my future without you in it. Will you marry me? But before I could even finish the question, I saw her face change. It was not surprise or joy. It was fear. She took a step back, her hand flying to her mouth. Byron, wait, she said, her voice shaking. I cannot do this. I cannot. I stayed frozen on one knee, the ring box still open in my hand, unable to process what I was hearing. What do you mean you cannot? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. What are you talking about? Madison wrapped her arms around herself, looking everywhere but at my face. I am not ready for marriage, she said. I do not think I will ever be ready. The words hit me like a physical blow. I stood up slowly, my legs feeling weak. We have been together for 3 years, Madison. We live together. We have talked about this. She finally met my eyes, and what I saw there made my blood run cold. No, she said quietly, you talked about it. I just went along because I did not know how to tell you the truth. I put the ring box back in my pocket with shaking hands. Tell me the truth now, I said, fighting to keep my voice steady. What are you really saying? A couple walked past us, the woman glancing curiously at my face, probably wondering why I looked like I had just been punched. Madison waited until they were out of earshot before speaking. I feel trapped, she admitted. Like my life is on rails, and I am just being carried along without any choice in where I am going. I felt anger starting to burn through the shock. Trapped, I repeated. By what? By me, by our relationship. She hesitated, and that hesitation told me everything. I have been feeling this way for months, she said. Maybe longer. I just did not know how to tell you. I thought maybe it would pass, that I was just going through something, and would come out the other side feeling different. But I have not. If anything, it has gotten worse. My mind was racing, connecting dots I had not wanted to see. The late nights at work, the way she had been pulling away physically, making excuses when I tried to be intimate. The conversations that stopped abruptly when I walked into a room. Are you seeing someone else? I asked, the question burning in my throat. Madison went very still. I need you to tell me the truth right now, I pressed. Are you cheating on me? She looked down at her feet. Not physically, she whispered, but there is someone at work. His name is Trevor. We have gotten close over the past few months. Very close. The beach seemed to tilt beneath me. How close? I demanded. Madison, how close? She started crying, then tears running down her face, but I felt nothing but cold fury. We talk every day, she admitted. We have lunch together. We message outside of work. He understands me in ways that you do not, Byron. He gets my ambitions, my frustrations with work. We connect on a level that I did not even know I was missing. So you have been emotionally cheating on me, I said flatly, while living in my apartment, sleeping in my bed, and letting me believe we had a future together. When she tried to reach for my hand, I pulled away. Do not touch me. She was sobbing now, her makeup running. I did not mean for it to happen, she said. It just did. Byron, I still care about you. I do. I just do not know if I am in love with you anymore. Maybe I have not been for a while. Each word was another knife. So when I asked you to marry me just now, you were already half in love with someone else. She nodded miserably. I thought about the ring in my pocket, about the deposit I had put down on the restaurant, about Derek hiding somewhere in the dunes with his camera ready to capture what should have been the happiest moment of our lives. If you are not sure about us, I said, my voice eerily calm, then there is no us. This is over. Madison looked up at me in shock. What, Byron? Wait. We can work through this. We can go to counseling or something. I shook my head. There is nothing to work through. You rejected my proposal and told me you have feelings for another man. Those are not things you come back from. But where will I go? She asked, panic creeping into her voice. The apartment is mine, I reminded her. My name is on the deed. You have 2 weeks to find somewhere else to live. You cannot be serious, she said. Byron, we have been together for 3 years. You are just going to throw me out. I am not throwing you out, I corrected her. I am ending a relationship with someone who does not want to be in it and asking you to leave my home. That is completely reasonable. She tried a different approach. It is our apartment, she argued. My name is on the lease. I have rights. You are on the lease. Yes, I acknowledged. But I own the building. I made the down payment. I pay the mortgage. You pay rent to me. Legally, this is my property, and I am well within my rights to ask you to leave. The walk back to my car was silent. I could hear Madison crying beside me, but I kept my eyes straight ahead, my jaw clenched so tight my teeth hurt. The drive home took 20 minutes, and I did not say a single word. When we got to the apartment, Madison went to the bedroom, and I heard the door close. I stood in the living room, still in my jacket, the ring box feeling like it weighed 50 pounds in my pocket. I pulled out my phone and texted Marcus. She said no. Actually, it is worse than that. Call you tomorrow. I cannot talk right now. I went to the bedroom door and knocked. Madison opened it, her eyes red and swollen. I am sleeping on the couch tonight, I told her. Tomorrow we will figure out the logistics. She nodded, looking small and scared, and part of me wanted to comfort her. But the larger part, the part that was hurt and angry and betrayed, remembered Trevor. Remembered how she had been building a relationship with him while I was saving up for a ring. I grabbed my pillow and a blanket and closed the door behind me. I did not sleep at all that night. I lay on the couch staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of the past 6 months. How had I missed this? The signs had been there. The phone call she took in the other room. The way she angled her screen away from me when I walked by. The new clothes and makeup routine. The fact that she had stopped saying, "I love you" first, making me always be the one to say it. I had been so focused on planning our future that I had not noticed our present was falling apart. Around 4 in the morning, I heard Madison crying in the bedroom. Every instinct I had told me to go to her to comfort her the way I had done 100 times before. But I stayed on the couch. She had made her choice. She had chosen Trevor, or at least the idea of him, over what we had built together. And more than that, she had been lying to me for months. That was the part that hurt most. Not that she had fallen out of love with me, because feelings change and people grow apart, but that she had been dishonest, carrying on an emotional affair while letting me believe everything was fine. When the sun finally came up over the Los Angeles skyline, painting the living room in shades of pink and gold, I knew what I had to do. I got up, made coffee, and waited for Madison to emerge from the bedroom. This was going to be one of the hardest conversations of my life, but it was necessary. I could not let myself be weak. I could not let her manipulate me into letting her stay while she figured out her feelings. I deserved better than to be someone's backup plan. Madison came out of the bedroom around 8 in the morning, looking like she had not slept either. Her eyes were puffy, her hair was tangled, and she was wearing the old college sweatshirt she always wore when she was upset. For a moment, she looked so vulnerable that I almost wavered. Almost. But then I remembered Trevor, and my resolve hardened. "We need to talk," I said, gesturing to the kitchen table. She sat down, slowly wrapping her hands around the coffee mug I had set out for her. "You have 2 weeks to find a place and move out," I stated clearly, keeping my voice level and firm. 2 weeks, Madison. That is more than fair given the circumstances. She looked up at me with those big eyes that had once made me melt. "Byron, please," she started. "Can we not talk about this? Maybe we can work through everything. Maybe I was just scared last night. Maybe I made a mistake." I shook my head. "There is nothing to work through. You rejected my proposal and admitted you have feelings for someone else. Those are facts, not misunderstandings." "But where am I going to go?" she asked, her voice rising. "Do you have any idea how expensive rent is in Los Angeles right now? A 1-bedroom apartment in a decent neighborhood is at least $2,000 a month. I do not have that kind of money saved up." "You should have thought about that before you started your emotional affair with Trevor," I replied coldly. "Your housing situation is not my responsibility anymore." She slammed her coffee mug down on the table, sloshing liquid onto the wood. "This is unbelievable. We have been together for 3 years, Byron. 3 years. And you are just going to throw that away like it meant nothing." "I am not the one throwing it away," I said, my own anger starting to rise now. "You did that when you chose to develop feelings for someone else while we were living together, while I was planning to propose, while I was building my entire future around us. You threw it away, Madison. Not me." She started crying again, but this time it felt manipulative, like she was trying to use tears to change my mind. "You are being cruel," she sobbed. "I made a mistake. People make mistakes. Can you not forgive me?" "I can forgive you," I said. "Eventually. But that does not mean I am going to stay in a relationship with someone who does not love me and who has been dishonest for months. You said yourself you are not in love with me anymore. Why would I want to be with someone who feels that way?" "Because we have history," she argued. "Because we have built a life together. Because you cannot just erase 3 years like they did not happen." "I am not erasing anything," I told her. "I am just refusing to keep building on a foundation that turned out to be made of lies." The next 2 weeks were absolute hell. Madison tried everything to get me to change my mind. The first few days she played the victim. She would cry whenever I was in the room, talk about how scared she was of being alone, remind me of all our good times together. When that did not work, she tried being helpful. She cooked my favorite meals, cleaned the apartment spotless, offered to do my laundry. She was suddenly interested in all the things I liked, asking about my work projects and suggesting we watch movies I had been wanting to see. It was exhausting watching her perform this version of the girlfriend she thought I wanted, when all I wanted was for her to pack her things and leave. One evening about a week in, she tried a different approach. She wore the dress I had always loved, made reservations at an expensive restaurant, and asked me to go with her. Just one last date, she pleaded, to remember the good times. If you still want me to move out after that, I will go without argument. I declined. There is no point, I told her. It is over, Madison. Let it be over. She threw the dress on the floor and stormed back to the bedroom, slamming the door so hard the pictures rattled on the walls. By day 10, I was getting nervous. She had not packed a single box. Her clothes still hung in the closet. Her toiletries still crowded the bathroom counter. When I asked her about it, she gave me excuses. I am looking at places, but everything is too expensive. I need more time. Can we just be roommates for a while until I save up enough money? Absolutely not, I told her. You need to leave, Madison. This is not negotiable. On day 13, with only 1 day left before my deadline, I came home early from work to check on her progress. The apartment looked exactly the same. Nothing was packed. Nothing had changed. I called Marcus and Derek. I need your help tomorrow, I told them. Madison is not leaving voluntarily, and I need to make it happen. They agreed immediately, no questions asked. That night I barely slept again, running through the plan in my head. I would give her one more chance in the morning. If she refused, we would pack her things for her. I had already consulted with a lawyer who confirmed that as the property owner, I had every right to remove her belongings if she refused to leave after being given adequate notice. I hated that it had come to this, but she had left me no choice. Around 10 that night, I got up to get water from the kitchen. As I passed the bedroom, I heard Madison talking on the phone. Her voice was low, but I could hear her clearly through the thin door. "Don, not worry," she was saying to someone. "I am playing the victim card really well. He will let me stay." I froze my hand on the water glass. "Trevor," she continued, "I just need to stay here for a few more months, save up some money, and then we can get our own place." Her laugh was bitter and calculating. "You should see how guilty he looks every time I cry. It is actually kind of pathetic." I heard Trevor's voice through the phone, though I could not make out the words. Madison laughed again. "Are you sure he is that stupid?" Trevor apparently asked, because Madison replied, "Byron has always been a pushover. He talks big, but he never follows through. Remember I told you how he let me move in, without even asking me to contribute to the down payment. He will give in. He always does." I felt something crack inside my chest. All week I had been questioning myself, wondering if I was being too harsh, if I should give her another chance. And this whole time she had been playing me, using my kindness and my love for her against me. I pushed the bedroom door open. Madison jumped, her phone clattering to the floor. "Not anymore, I will not," I said, my voice deadly calm. She went pale. "Byron, I can explain. That was not what it sounded like. I heard everything I told her. Your plan to manipulate me, your conversations with Trevor, everything. And you know what? It does not matter anymore. Pack your bags. Now. Not in 2 days. Now. Tonight." She changed tactics instantly, the tears evaporating, replaced by cold anger. "Fine," she spat. "You want me gone, I will go. But let me tell you something, Byron. I never loved you. You are boring, predictable, and frankly your job is pathetic. Trevor makes 3 times what you make, and he actually knows how to have fun. He takes risks. He lives unlike you, who just sits around playing it safe." "Good for Trevor," I said evenly. "Then, go be with him. You have until midnight." She grabbed her phone and called someone, probably Trevor, asking him to come get her. While she was distracted, I called Marcus and Derek. "Change of plans," I told them. "Can you come now? I need backup." They showed up within 30 minutes, both of them looking ready for a fight if necessary. "What happened?" Marcus asked. I explained quickly about what I had overheard. His face darkened. "Let us get her stuff out," he said. The 3 of us started gathering Madison's things, pulling clothes from the closet, collecting her toiletries from the bathroom, boxing up her books and decorations. Madison tried to intervene. "Do not touch my stuff," she screamed, trying to grab a box from Derek's hands. "You heard him," Marcus said calmly. "You have until midnight." She tried calling the police then, but when they arrived, and I showed them the property deed and explained that I had given her 2 weeks' notice, they told her she needed to leave. "If you refuse," one officer said, "he can file for a formal eviction, and you will have that on your record. I suggest you take what you can tonight and arrange for the rest later." Derek loaded boxes into the building lobby, while Marcus helped me dismantle the bed frame Madison had contributed to the apartment. By 11:15, most of her belongings were stacked in the lobby. Madison sat on the couch, mascara running down her face, alternating between crying and calling me every name she could think of. Trevor apparently was not answering her calls. At 11:45, she finally stood up. "I hate you," she said, venom dripping from every word. "You are going to regret this, Byron. You are going to wake up one day and realize you made the biggest mistake of your life." "The only thing I regret," I replied, "is wasting 3 years on someone who never valued me." I opened the apartment door and gestured to the hallway. Madison grabbed her purse and walked out, her shoulders shaking with sobs. I closed the door behind her and turned the deadbolt. The sound of that lock clicking into place was the most final sound I had ever heard. Marcus put a hand on my shoulder. "You did the right thing," he said. "I know it does not feel like it right now, but you did." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. Derek ordered pizza, and they stayed until 2 in the morning just sitting with me, not saying much, just being there. A week later, Marcus sent me a screenshot from Instagram. It was Trevor's profile, posted that very day. He was in Hawaii, his arm around a woman with blonde hair and a bright smile. Someone who was definitely not Madison. The caption read, "Sometimes the best relationships start when you are least expecting it." Madison was not tagged. She was not even mentioned. I stared at that photo for a long time, and something inside me finally broke free. She had destroyed what we had for a man who had never been serious about her. She had gambled everything on someone who had seen her as nothing more than a temporary distraction. And now she had nothing. No Trevor, no me, no apartment. Just the consequences of her own choices. The first week after Madison moved out was the hardest week of my life. The apartment felt enormous and empty. Everywhere I looked reminded me of her. The kitchen where we used to cook together, the couch where we binge-watched shows, the bedroom where we had slept side by side for 2 years. I could not eat, could not sleep, could barely function at work. I would come home and just sit in the dark, wondering how everything had gone so wrong so quickly. My phone stayed silent. Madison did not call or text, and I was grateful for that. I did not think I could handle hearing her voice. Marcus and Derek checked on me constantly. They showed up unannounced, with takeout, forced me to eat, stayed to watch sports, or just sit in silence. Marcus tried to get me to go to the gym with him. "Come on," he urged. "Exercise will help. Get those endorphins going." I refused every time. "I am not ready," I told him. "I cannot pretend everything is fine when it is not." One night, around 2 in the morning, when I could not sleep, I almost texted Madison. I pulled up her number, typed out a message asking if she was okay, asking if we could talk. My thumb hovered over the send button for what felt like an eternity. But then I remembered her voice on the phone, with Trevor calling me pathetic, laughing about manipulating me. I deleted the message and blocked her number. If I was going to heal, I needed to cut off every avenue back to her. The second month was slightly better. I started to reclaim the apartment, making it feel like mine again instead of ours. I went to the gym with Marcus every morning before work, pushing myself harder than I ever had before. The physical pain was a welcome distraction from the emotional pain. At work, I threw myself into a major project, staying late, taking on extra responsibilities. My manager noticed and pulled me aside. "Whatever is driving you right now," he said, "keep it up. Your work has been exceptional." I got promoted to senior engineer in early November, something I had been working toward for years. In the midst of my heartbreak, I realized that I had neglected my career while I was with Madison, always making sure I was home for dinner, always prioritizing couple time over networking events or extra projects. I also started reconnecting with friends I had drifted away from during my relationship. Madison had never liked my college roommate, Paul, saying he was immature and a bad influence. So I had stopped hanging out with him as much. Now I called him up and we met for drinks. It was like no time had passed at all. He did not ask about Madison, did not push me to talk about the breakup. We just hung out like we used to, talking about everything and nothing. Derek invited me to join his hiking group, and I discovered I loved getting out into the mountains every Saturday, pushing my body up steep trails, earning the view at the top. By month 3, I was starting to feel like myself again. Actually, I was starting to feel like a better version of myself. I redecorated the apartment, getting rid of the throw pillows. Madison had insisted on repainting the living room from the beige she had chosen to a deep navy blue I actually liked. I bought a massive television and a proper sound system. I hung my artwork, the pieces I had kept in storage, because they did not match Madison's aesthetic. The apartment started to feel like home, like a space that reflected who I was rather than who we had been as a couple. One of Derek's friends, a woman named Sophia, suggested setting me up on a blind date with her coworker. I appreciate it, I told her, but I am not ready yet. Maybe in a few months. She nodded understandingly. No pressure. Just know that when you are ready, there are good people out there who would be lucky to know you. That comment stuck with me. Madison had made me feel like I was not enough, like I was boring and predictable and somehow lacking. But the truth was, I was not lacking anything. I was stable, loyal, hardworking, and kind. Those were not flaws. Those were strengths. The problem was never that I was not enough. The problem was that Madison did not value what I had to offer. She wanted excitement and risk, and the thrill of something new. And maybe that was fine for her, but it was not who I was. I did not need to change myself to be worthy of love. I just needed to find someone who appreciated me for exactly who I was. 6 months after the breakup, on a random Tuesday afternoon, I walked into a coffee shop near my office and saw Madison. She was sitting alone at a corner table, staring at her laptop, a half-empty cup of coffee beside her. She looked tired. The sparkle I had always associated with her seemed dimmed somehow. Her clothes were nice but not new, and I noticed she was wearing an older pair of shoes instead of the designer ones she used to save up for. For a moment, I considered just leaving, but then she looked up and saw me. Our eyes met across the coffee shop, and I saw recognition then, something that looked like panic flash across her face. I walked over to her table. "Hello, Madison," I said neutrally. She closed her laptop quickly. "Byron." "Hi. How are you?" "I am good," I told her honestly. "Really good, actually." She looked like she wanted to say something, her mouth opening and closing. "Can we talk?" she finally asked. "I do not think there is anything to say," I replied. She reached out like she was going to touch my arm, then thought better of it. "I was wrong," she said quietly. "About everything." "I know," I told her, "but that does not change anything." "Are you seeing anyone?" she asked, and I could hear the hope in her voice that I would say no. "That is not your concern anymore," I said gently but firmly. "I made a mistake," she pressed. "Trevor was nothing. He dropped me the second things got complicated. I have been miserable for months. I am sorry," I said, and I meant it. "I am sorry you are hurting, but we are not getting back together, Madison. We want different things. We always did. I just did not see it until you forced me to." She started crying, then quiet tears running down her face. "I miss you," she whispered. "I miss our life. Our life was built on you being dishonest about your feelings," I said. "That is not something I can go back to. I hope you find what you are looking for, Madison. I really do. But it is not going to be with me." I walked out of that coffee shop and got in my car and just sat there for a minute waiting for the pain to hit. But it did not come. There was no sharp stab of loss, no desperate urge to run back inside and tell her we could try again. There was just a calm, quiet sense of closure. I had loved Madison with everything I had. I had been ready to marry her, to build an entire life with her. And she had chosen someone else. That had hurt more than I thought I could survive. But I had survived it. More than that, I had grown from it. I had learned that I was stronger than I gave myself credit for, that I could stand up for myself, even when it was hard, that I deserved someone who chose me without hesitation. A year after the proposal that never happened, I am sitting in my apartment writing this story. I am seeing someone now, a woman named Sophia, who I met through that hiking group Derek introduced me to. She is an architect with a quick laugh and a genuine kindness that makes me feel safe in a way I had not felt in a long time. We are taking things slowly, building a foundation of friendship and honesty before rushing into anything serious. I am not the same man who knelt on that beach with a ring in his hand. I am more cautious now, more aware of red flags, more willing to ask hard questions and expect honest answers. But I am also more confident, more certain of my worth, more comfortable with who I am. The ring I bought for Madison is long gone. I sold it and used the money to take Marcus on a trip to Europe, something we had been talking about since college but never made time for. We spent 2 weeks hiking through Scotland and Ireland, staying in small bed and breakfasts, talking about everything and nothing. It was exactly what I needed. Madison occasionally crosses my mind, usually when I pass somewhere we used to go together. But the memories do not hurt anymore. They are just moments that happened to someone I used to be loving, someone who is now a stranger. I heard through mutual friends that she is still single, still working at the same company, still in Los Angeles. I hope she figured out what she actually wants. I hope she is happy, but mostly I just do not think about her at all. Looking back, that rejected proposal was the best thing that never happened to me. It saved me from a lifetime with someone who saw me as a safety net, not a partner. Someone who would have married me out of convenience rather than love. I learned that loving someone is not about holding on when they are pulling away. It is about having the strength to let go when they show you they do not value what you offer. Madison taught me that sometimes the person you would take a bullet for is hiding behind the trigger. And that is okay, because now I know my worth. I know what I bring to a relationship. I know I deserve someone who chooses me without hesitation, who sees my proposal not as pressure but as a promise. If you are going through something similar right now, if someone you love just told you they are not sure about you anymore, let me tell you this. You deserve someone who chooses you without hesitation. You deserve someone who is excited about building a future with you, not someone who sees you as an option while they explore other possibilities. Do not settle for being someone's backup plan. Do not let anyone make you feel like you are too much or not enough. The right person will not make you question whether you are worthy of love. They will make you realize you have been more than worthy all along. So let me ask you, have you ever been through a situation where someone you loved made you feel like you were not enough, only for you to realize later that they were the one who was not seeing your value? Drop a comment below and share your story. You never know who might need to hear it today. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button so I know I am not alone in having gone through this. And please subscribe to the channel because I share more real-life stories like this. Stories about heartbreak and healing and finding yourself again after loss. Share this video with someone who might be going through a tough breakup right now. Sometimes just knowing someone else survived something similar makes all the difference. Thank you so much for listening to my story and for being part of this community. I hope wherever you are in your journey, whether you are heartbroken or healing or happy again, you know that you are valued and worthy, exactly as you are. Take care of yourselves out there.